My fellow Americans, I need you to hear the story that I'm about to tell. It's vitally important that you know the truth about what the government is doing. It involves a great betrayal of our trust. To get votes, politicians look for anything that they can use as leverage. Their favorite tactic is to look for a group of people that can be convinced that they are either being treated unfairly, deprived of their rights, or disregarded. They want to create a strong response in that group, such as anger or fear. They stir them up with a narrative, using carefully chosen words that they repeat over and over again, words that exaggerate and often completely fabricate the truth. If their ruse takes hold, then they represent themselves as champions of the cause that they have created in the minds of voters. They tell us, "We are on your side. Vote for us and we will fix this problem." These are the tools of their trade, tools of deception. They think that we are so damn stupid that we can be led around like sheep. Here's an example: gun control. There are way too many deaths in America due to gun violence, so this is a great topic to exaggerate and create fear and anger. They use the media to report on any multiple shootings that occur to hammer home their point. Then they rush in to save the day by working to ban semi-automatic rifles. But they don't call them semi-automatic rifles because those words don't sound scary enough. They call them assault weapons. Does it matter to them that well over half of the deaths related to gun violence are due to suicide and don't have anything to do with a rifle? No, it does not. Does it matter that a rifle is used in only about 1% of all gun-related deaths? No, it does not. So banning assault rifles doesn't make sense because it would have almost no effect on the 45,000 gun-related deaths that occur every year. Doesn't make sense until we recognize their true motive. They want us to believe that rifles are the cause of all of this mayhem, so that we need to vote for them to get it to stop. So here's the truth. They care very much about getting our vote, but very little about saving our lives. Just how far will they go to get votes to win an election? In our last national election, they suggested that large numbers of fraudulent votes were cast, enough to affect the outcome for the office of president. This narrative was repeated over and over again from several media sources, suggesting that the election was stolen. What a perfect way to stir up an angry response. That narrative is being used even today to energize their voter base and gain votes for the next election. However, it had the side effect of causing a riot at the Capitol on January 6th, with 1 dead and many injured. But does their story make sense? I'm sure that there were some episodes of fraud, and in a few areas a significant amount. But if there was enough to overturn the election, there would be ample evidence to prove it. Several states have launched investigations, but nothing conclusive has come from a single one of them. Also, if there were that many fraudulent ballots, why wasn't there an equal challenge of the other results, such as those for senators and representatives? It just doesn't make sense unless, you guessed it, it was just another trick to get votes. They care very much about overturning election results, but very little about causing a riot. In yet another example, sometimes when the police are trying to make an arrest, the suspect resists and is killed. Obviously, this is a very sad outcome. In the latest year that statistics are available, 996 such incidents occurred. Politicians are using these events to suggest that there is racial injustice, that black Americans are disproportionately killed by police. Obviously, this would make anyone angry if it were true. The media supports this narrative by providing extensive coverage of these incidents, but only when a person of color is involved. Ever heard of George Floyd, who was suffocated by police? How about Justine Damond, who was shot and killed by the officers that she called to investigate a possible assault? In a show of support and to gain minority votes, politicians have suggested that the police are against black Americans. They have stepped in by decreasing police forces in many cities, and district attorneys have lowered the bail for many violent offenders, releasing them back onto the streets. Now let's get down to the facts. If we look at the number of suspects killed by police as a percentage of those being arrested for violent crime or weapons charges, the numbers work out something like this. For white Americans, 0.13%. For black Americans, 0.10%. And for Hispanic Americans, 0.12%. The percentage for black Americans is actually the lowest of the three. Reducing police forces and bail for violent offenders has resulted in record high murder rates in many major cities, and most often it is the minorities who are the victims. So in reality, it is the actions of politicians that have caused black Americans to disproportionately lose their lives, not the police. Can you see just how twisted and sick our political system is? Politicians ask us for our vote, ask us to hand the power of political office to them. We entrust them with the important job of taking good care of our nation and taking good care of all Americans. Yet they treat us like this, dividing us, deceiving us to get our vote, and then once in office, betraying us by causing harm to Americans? More often than not, the government is not helping. It's standing in our way of our right to life, freedom, and prosperity. Quite honestly, we would be better off if it would do nothing. Just who is supposed to serve who anyway? Do the people serve the government? Hell no. The government serves the people. I am the people. You are the people. They better get that through their thick skulls. When are we going to say, enough is enough? When are we going to say, we will not stand for this anymore? When will we demand that the government focus all of its energy to serve us so that the hopes and dreams of a nation will be fulfilled? I say, now is the time. I say, you politicians are not going to walk all over me anymore. Like it or not, the Constitution was written for everybody. I am everybody. and my fellow Americans are everybody. We have rights, and if you can't respect those rights, then step aside and get out of our way. We need to dispel all of these myths that you are creating, and we need to drop all of this division. If you are my president, my senator, or my representative, and you are not spending every ounce of your time and effort defending our rights and serving us, then by God, you're fired.